Hi everyone. Welcome to Authentic Joy. I hope everyone is staying inside, taking care of their health, and taking this time to really reflect and take a reset. So today I just wanted to talk to you all, share with you all three things that the Lord has placed on my heart and has been kind of going around in my mind, over these quarantine days. The first one is rest. I have been trying to live a more restful life. And I keep hearing God about that, be still, be still, be still. It has been a message it was resounding, especially for me last week. And it just seems that it's so easy to get caught up and distracted and busy and hectic. And there is so much power in making rest a priority. I always marvel at the fact that there are these 10 commandments and adultery and lying and murder and real serious things, and then thrown in there is Sabbath. Keep the Sabbath. It's God knew we would be so tempted and prone to this busy life that He made it a commandment. Make sure and take rest on that Sabbath day, that seventh day. And it's not just, when I'm thinking about rest, I'm not just thinking about observing a Sabbath day, but leading a more restful life, making rest a priority. I don't know if it's just my imagination or just a new appreciation, but I feel like even in these quarantine times, like nature is happier. you know, like birds seem to be coming closer. One just came while I was sitting here and came and watched me for a while, and it seems that I'm hearing more birds. That I just feel like nature is just kind of breathing a sigh of relief that we that we have not been um, up and about and driving and polluting as much as before, and there's that chance for nature to rest and recover. I was reading recently that Israel, they even had a Sabbath rest for the land when the farmers would work their lands and plant crops. But on that seventh year, they would let that land lie fallow and not do any crops for that year. And the land would just rejuvenate and recover. And it was a way to ensure that they'd have a longevity and a sustained harvest for many, many, many years. And I think we've lost that practice of just resting in everything, in our business, in our life, in the economy. We always want to be going and producing. We think that our life is valued in what we produce. And even for me, producing this blog, and many times I've had to just not have a blog for an extended period of time because God just said rest, you know. So that's something that's really been stirring in my heart to incorporate into my life a value for rest, for taking that Sabbath, and knowing that God will not make my life diminish, but will increase even more. There's a supernatural production that comes when we rest. There's a supernatural increase when God provided, the Israelites with manna as they wandered in the desert. Every day He fed them from heaven. But when they had to observe the Sabbath, He'd provide twice as much the day before that would last for the Sabbath day. And I believe there's that supernatural increase that comes when we observe rest in God. And somebody said, you cannot have a spiritual life. You cannot have a spirit-led life in hurry. They're just incompatible. You can't be in hurrying all the time and have the consciousness and awareness and inner attentiveness needed to really dig into God and have communion and fellowship with Him if you're always distracted and in a hurry. So that's kind of been one of my um, aims, I guess, for this quarantine period to really rest in God. The second thing I wanted to talk about is I forget. Oh, I remember. I have a little notepad here to remind me when I forget. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. It's been, I think, a new value and appreciation for life, for nature. The fact that I cannot go on a hike, I cannot go for a ride in a trail through the bush. I can't go surfing most of all, um, and to the beach. That's one of my happy places. I really understand the value of those things in my life, and I have so much gratitude, more gratitude for them now that I could even, though I'm stuck home, I could still sit on my patio and see this view. Um, that is something I'm really grateful for. And I see so many people posting about the different views from their room, kind of thing. I saw that group, and I think we undervalue nature. We undervalue the beauty and the peace that it brings to our soul. And really have a new. I want to have a greater gratitude for just being able to see a mountain and swim in the sea. When we go back out, I hope that everything is doesn't go back to the same as I heard somebody say, but there's a deeper gratitude in my heart, and also there's so much more gratitude I think for people, for relationships. Like that they say that the quality of your life is the sum of the quality of your relationships, and I am so grateful that you know I enjoy being home with my family. I enjoy being home with my wife. We laugh, we have good times, and I miss the other relationships in my life that I can't, you know, hug my parents or you know go and see some of my friends and spend some time with them. So I'm really cherishing that. Going to be cherishing that when things go back to normal. Just being able to share a hug so much more valuable now than it was before, and I really pray that that becomes something that I don't lose. We could we could take people for granted, take things for granted. I hope that I'm trying in this time to kind of build up an inner appreciation that stays and sticks past this time. I'm so grateful for help for my helper, Claudette. Claudette, I'm grateful for you. I had to mop and sweep my entire house the other day, and I just was so grateful and for the help that you give us, Claudette. Taking care of my kids, cooking, cleaning. It seems like small tasks, but I think they are the truly um, godly tasks in the midst of our life. The people who are working now, the doctors, the nurses, people providing food. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. So, now when I have a meal, well, I started this a while ago, but even so now, before grace before meals, just give thanks. But sometimes I look at my plate and I see, you know, um, rice, and I think of all the hands that had to touch that with care to get it to my plate. From the farmer who grew it, you know, the people who packaged it, processed it, put it on the shelves. The workers in the factories and business places that everybody had to put in a little bit of care and attention and concern and effort. And I think it goes over our head most of the time. But for me, this time has become a time to appreciate everybody and value everyone, no matter how small their contribution, and realize that there is no such thing as a small contribution. You know, so I just wanna, I wanna have a greater value, gratitude in my heart for people going forward. And, I want to bless you all. Any, those who logging in, watching, that I appreciate you all, and I pray that you'll be a blessing and bless those around you in a greater way. And finally, last thing I want to talk about is connection and the power of connection. There's, you know, there's been a flood of content on social media, Christian and otherwise. People giving thoughts and views on what God is saying, what this means, what's happening. And I've really spent a lot of time, you know, saying what could I possibly add to that flood of information, right? Uh, at the beginning, I was asking, what is God saying through this to the church, um, to the earth? And I wrote a little bit about that, but recently he's been kind of saying, don't worry about that. That's not my, maybe there are people who were called to talk about that, but that's not the span of my authority. I don't know what God is saying to the world. I really don't. But he's been saying stuff to me personally. And a while back when I'm doing my blog, when I started, I committed to, being personal and sharing myself. And a while back, I kind of realized I had drifted and recommitted to sharing more of my stories and being vulnerable about what's happening with me and in my life. And invariably, I see that people connect most to those stories. And I connect most to those stories that when people make it personal and not just talking about an abstract thought, idea, or view, but they share their lives. It's it's impactful. It's I think it's what God is looking for. I think that God wants the church believers to share themselves. That we are the message, and yeah, we are on social media, and it's kind of a impersonal platform. We could share blogs as I do, videos, but so much of our time is spent sharing facts and information. And I think God is saying to me, for sure, maybe to others, to share your lives. You are the message. Don't tell people about God. Tell them about what God is doing in you. Tell people. So, and that's the reason I did this video, because I've tried to share what God is doing with me in my articles, but I think video maybe is a little more personal. So I said, you know what, I'll try it. I'll be obedient to what God is telling me to do. So, and I've enjoyed it so much from others. Stephen Furtick. I have listened to tons of his messages, but no message from Stephen Furtick has ever impacted me like a video I saw the other day of him in his basement playing his guitar with his little daughter. She was like in a bath cap and in a blanket, and just the way she was snuggling up next to him and looking at him while he played a few worship songs, and I will never forget that video. It was a peek into the real life of Stephen Furtick. How he interacts with his family, you know, his fathering, his heart for God, and to me that was more powerful than any message he had ever preached. So that's what I appreciate, and I think now too, I'm seeing more of the wives for some reason. Like the people I follow, I'm seeing their wives coming on, and just doing normal stuff, baking and taking care of kids and sharing a glimpse into their lives. And I think that women are better at this stuff, this personal connection and vulnerability. And I have been saying, and I continue to say, that now is the time in the kingdom for women to shine. I think we need it. And I think in times of crisis, like I was thinking, how come I'm seeing so many more, the wives coming on? Normally, it's just the pastors, the guys, and you know in times of crisis when connection and that human touch is needed, women rise to the challenge, and I'm so appreciating that at this time. So that connection, that personal touch, um, God is talking to me about that, and more than ever, I think the church has to bring Christ to the world, and it's not facts, it's not information, it's not, you know, something that you read in the Bible. It's your life and what God has been doing in you. And the more we do that, I think we bring people in touch with Christ, and even over Facebook and YouTube and whatever other medium, we can bring people in touch with Christ if we share our lives truly and genuinely and authentically. It's authentically whole. Anyway, um, so so that's what I wanted to say today. And I really wanted to bless you guys with these three things: rest, gratitude, connection. That you'd have a new found appreciation for these things in your life. That God will begin to move in your heart and change the way you see the world and the way you love, the way you connect, the way you speak to people, the way you take care of yourself. That's what He's been doing with me, and I want to, whatever is happening with me, I want to be able to bless you with that same impartation. I believe there's a power in that, in sharing what God is doing with you, to bless somebody else, to for it to multiply in their lives, and even more than is happening for me. So um, I just want to bless you guys, and I want to hear from you because I want to hear what's happening in your lives. Tell me what's God been laying on your heart in this season. What's quarantine been doing with you? I love you guys. Take care.